Service animals are used for people with disabilities and whatnot, and they're registered and trained through registered agencies and whatnot. I don't know a lot about emotional service dogs, but I know that I've heard that you can get them registered like just through your doctor.
An emotional support animal, sometimes people who have like panic attacks or just need someone there to help them calm down, whereas a service animal has a lot more training and probably serves some very specific tasks in that person's life.
Like emotional support, like through a psychiatrist or something, and services like if you have a physical disability.
An emotional support animal would be one that is just there to make you feel comfortable. And a service animal is one that actually helps you function and achieve tasks.
This topic became extremely important to me when I got diagnosed with anxiety disorder and got my own emotional support animal, Bo. He lives in the dorm with me, and whenever I'm walking around with him, people ask me how he's in the dorm, and I tell him that he's my emotional support animal, and they kind of shrug it off and say, oh, that's cool, or how'd you get that? And it bothers me a little bit because even though people aren't meaning to be rude, it kind of like questions the authenticity of me having him as my emotional support animal and just not an animal I just want with me in my dorm, because he truly helps my anxiety disorder. And I guess I kind of had the same exact response before I had mine too. When people had one, I was just like, oh yeah, that's just a way to get a dog in a dorm or somewhere where they're not allowed to be. People understand the importance of service animals because they see these animals walking around campus and getting trained to help their owners with a physical disorder, say a seizure disease, or the animal is the cushion for their owner, but people don't understand the importance of emotional support animals and that they're actually beneficial to their health. Even though it's their mental health rather than their physical health, they're still as important as service animals, and it's hard for people to understand that if they don't have one of their own, but this is what this documentary is for.
Service animal by ADA law is an animal, usually a dog, who is specifically task trained for their person. So say the person had epilepsy and they had seizures, the dog would be specifically trained for that individual who had seizures.
Organizations like Four Paws, like they help, like they take a whole, like I think it's like 60-page document that they have to fill out, like details about everything, like do you want to walk on the right side of your body, left side of your body, like tethering, tracking, like they want to find like the perfect dog for the family. She was diagnosed with leukemia when she was 1 year old. She had chemo and radiation and all of those things, and then she was in remission, and then she got like relapsed again. She had to go through chemo and radiation again at 4 years old, and that just like takes a toll on the little girl's brain. So now she has uncontrollable epilepsy, like medicine can't help it and all those kind of things. So like, and she just like closed her eyes and just like fell, and I was like I just can't even imagine. Like, so they'll alert, they'll like cushion the fall and like help them, and then they'll do like recovery, like licking their face until they're like conscious again. Yeah. The way they train is like they'll send in shirts of like sweat from under your armpits, like before a seizure, during a seizure, and after a seizure, like all 3 different scents. And so like they'll train them for that like for months. Without Eliza in school, when she's in middle school, like her teachers would have no idea. She would have to just chill in the nurse's office the whole time.
I think people have this understanding that like the dogs that we train are like always like in training 24/7. Like when we get home and take all their stuff off, like they're just pets inside. Yeah, they're literally just puppies inside. Like, I mean, they have like, yeah, we work on like small stuff, but like they do like, they run around, like they play with toys. But I've had multiple people that were like, oh, your dog's like not a real dog. And I'm like, she gets to be a real dog like when she's home, but like when we're in public, like you wouldn't want her to act like that because she would disturb you. Yeah. But I think it's just like people just gotta really notice that like they in public, like they don't act like real dogs because they're not like they're not gonna be like wild like that. She's extremely goofy. Like you can see in her personality that she just gets really excited, and like at home when she's with my roommates, like she does the same thing even when she doesn't have her vest on. So it's just really, they're really great animals. And like also that not all of them become service dogs, because I've had people that are like amazed when I tell them that my first dog is a pet now, and they're like, but you did all that hard work. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work out. I was attached to her within like 2 weeks after giving back my first dog, so it's so easy. And like they're yours, and they're with us 24/7, so it's like it's hard to remember, but like once you like give them back and like you do go to like the graduation dates for when they graduate, it just makes everything like a full circle so much better. Yeah. Like just walking around with the dog, everyone like really wants to get to know you, and like it makes you interact with people if you don't want to. Like I'm in a rush sometimes. I try like to be really nice, and I'm like, no, I have to go. They're like, oh, I just want to pet your dog, and I'm like, okay. And we pet them, and then we run the class.
An emotional support animal is a companion for people who suffer from a multitude of mental illnesses that it's sort of like a source of relief for people who experience a lot of mental health issues.
Emotional support animal is a designation by the Federal Housing and Urban Development of an assistance animal that is required as a part of a treatment for some type of typically mental emotional illness that would require the animal to be present in a residential setting.
Went on medication, and medication's really great for some people, but it definitely wasn't really working for me. And so I researched animal-assisted therapy, and I talked to two of my cousins who are doctors. I talked to my mom, my psychiatrist. I did a ton of research, and everybody was really in favor for it and said, it's definitely worth a try. And so after I got her, I slowly just went off my medication, and then everything was fine. So
It was when medicine wasn't working and it just wasn't getting better, when I was consciously trying to make it better. So I was like, I'm gonna get a dog. And I have 2 dogs at home, and I miss them, and I have a cat. And so I'm a huge animal person. So not having that animal support at my dorm was difficult, because every time I go home and see my dogs, I was so excited, and they're just like a source of joy, and I didn't have that extra help here. So
Beginning of this semester, I was just like really just like in a mood. Like I thought about like going home, and I was like, that's ridiculous. Like I can't do that. So I just started like Googling like what helps with anxiety, and I kept seeing emotional support animal come up a lot. So I talked to my doctor about it, and he thought it was a great idea.
I was in a car accident on my way to UK like 2.5 weeks before I moved in, and somebody was texting and driving and pushed my car off the interstate. Because I passed the spot every time I went home, which before Bailey was frequently because I didn't really want to be here. Every time I would drive home, I would pass that spot. And so it got to the point where it was just getting worse, like my anxiety and my frustrations and like my fears while I was driving on the road. And so when I got Bailey, it was easier because it was like I had someone else there, and she was there, and she just kind of calmed me down. And so when I would pass the spot, I wouldn't be as anxious or as nervous. And so it got to the point where like it didn't really even faze me anymore, which was something that I didn't think that would ever happen. I always thought that it was going to be something that was going to impact like my daily life. Was like, am I ever going to be able to drive on the interstate again without fearing for my life? And I have driven on the interstate without fearing my life, and with Bailey and without Bailey. And so there are times where I drive on the interstate without her and I'm fine. But there are still some days where it still brings up a lot of anxiety and nervousness and fear. But it's definitely not nearly as bad as I thought it would have been. And it's because of her that it's not that bad anymore.
the way I need him for my emotional support is just to be there and as something to take the focus off of me when I'm freaking out, and rather just, oh shoot, I need to feed Bo, or Bo needs to go outside. It's just a way to break away from like this assignment or just anything that's stressing me out.
And she finally came to live with me. It only took 2 or 3 weeks, and she picked up on my moods, like when I'd be happy, when I'd be sad. Like she would know when that would happen, what to do when that would happen. So we instantly clicked, and there was not really anything else I really had to do. She kind of knew what to do.
Anxiety attacks have decreased a lot. I've only had 3 this whole entire year, which is a huge accomplishment because I used to have them, like I said, weekly, daily.
I would just get really stressed out and put everything off to the side until the last minute, but now
whenever I get really stressed or just feel really anxious, I just like take a minute and just go outside with her, play with her, watch a movie, and then I'm like good to go again.
Before I got Bailey, I just would come home after class and just like lay in my room and watch TV or cry or sleep. Like I just didn't really want to do anything, and schoolwork was one of those things I just didn't really have any concentration or motivation to do, and so it really impacted my studies. And then I got her, and then it just sort of, they quickly came back up to what I was doing before.
So many people on campus now. Even if I don't know their name, I know their face, and it's because of Bo.
I was just kind of shy before, but like since having her, obviously everybody loves puppies, so I've met a lot more people.
Yeah.
And
Once I got Bailey, I was able to just kind of be more social because I was more social with her, and therefore it sparked being more social with others. I was on the verge of transferring back home because I live in Knoxville, and so I was thinking about just transferring home and going to the University of Tennessee, and I just was really ready to leave because I was just so upset all the time, and I just wanted to be back with my family. And so I think it just had gotten to the point where I think I would have went home after the first semester here at UK, and to be perfectly honest, I don't even know if I would have gone back to school, period. There was just so many things that happened before college started and just during my first year of college that I really think that I just would have stayed, or I would have gone home and I just wouldn't have gone back.
That are absolutely beneficial. I know we have had students that were not for the ESA, they would have not been able to finish the semester, the year.
There's always been a stigma around mental health because it's kind of one of those topics that's not easy to discuss. People don't really want to talk about the issues that they're having or go to ask anyone for help, whether that be their family or their friends. I think we all need to work on getting rid of the stigma around mental health and talking about these issues so that the people who are struggling through mental disorders, including anxiety and depression, feel comfortable to go to their friends and family and talk about what they're going through and not have the fear of people judging them, because it's something they can't control and no one should have to work through these issues alone.